Hey guys, in this video I want to talk a little bit about proportions in a human head. This was requested by Fynn on one of my earlier videos. But before that I wanted to thank all of you for your support. I just hit the 1000 subscribers mark and I'm really happy about all your positive feedback. It means a lot to me and I'm always happy about your questions and feedback on my videos, and I'm glad that I can help you wherever I can. So, here you can see the final head sculpt I ended up with. I think it took me around 2 hours from start to finish, and I actually saved the history on it so I can show you the process a bit faster and a bit more organized. So when we go back to the beginning, you can see that it all started with the good old default Dynamic sphere. You can find it here in the lightbox under project, and here you can see the default Dynamic sphere. So in the beginning I like to block out the basic forms with just the move brush. So I pull out the chin and define the jawline and push the eye sockets in with the move brush as well, pull out the nose, and it's just about all the really basic shapes. And I put the eye sockets in the middle of the head. That's where the eyes are normally. And here you can see I masked out the front, so you can see that that it's all on one line. No, cancel. So it's just about pushing and pulling and using the Dynamesh option to get a better distribution of the topology. So here you can see that I inserted a sphere with the insert sphere brush. I like to keep the ear as a separate polygroup, as you can see here. This way I can adjust the shape of the ear without destroying the rest of the head, and it's especially helpful for the placement of the ear. So the placement of the ear is behind the jaw, and it has a slight angle to it, so it's not straight or tilted forward, but it's rotated back a bit. So here I started to use the clay brush a bit. And here you can see that I masked out the placement of the ear, and the top starts at the same level as the eyebrows, and it ends where the bottom of the nose is. So faster here, and the same technique for the ear I use for the neck as well. And you can see that I have now 3 separate polygroups, and I keep them as they are for quite a while to work on them freely and to adjust the placements, like the inserts of the neck and the position of the ear. So here I'm working more on the eyes, and you can see that I blocked out the rough shape of the eye socket. And it's really important for the eyes to keep the bone structure in mind, because it defines the overall shape of this area. Here you can see that I worked on the angles of the eye corners. So if it's if they're pointing down or up. And when you look at references, this line is really important to look for, where the eye corners align on a line. So now it's all just about getting the bone structure in, as well as some forms of the muscles. It's really helpful to do some skull studies for getting better with sculpting heads, because there's just so much going on under the surface that's really hard to understand if you don't know how the forms of the skulls are. And you can see here that I pronounced the eyebrows more, and that usually happens with males, not so much with females. So if you want to get a more masculine character, pronounce the eyebrows. And here I define the shapes of the ear. I like to draw out the structure first with the damp standard brush, and just fill in the volumes with a clay builder brush. And you can see that I still maintain the angle, that it's tilted, that it's rotated a bit back. And here you can see that I defined the skull structure in this area as well, like from the maxilla to the zygomatic process. And for the nose, I roughly go from the eyebrows to the chin, and in the middle of that there is the bottom of the nose, and that's the length, and the width is from the eye corners, inner eye corners down. That's roughly the middle, the width of the nose. So you can see that it's roughly this shape. And now it's just tweaking the shapes and getting sharper edges for the eyes, for the eyelids, and working on the anatomy. And here I start with the mouth, and I use the damp standard brush for that, as well as the move brush and the clay builder brush. And there's a really cool tutorial about lips, and it's from Ryan Kingsland, and I put the link down in the description. And he covers almost everything you need to know to get started with mouths. And here you can see that I still do bigger changes with the move brush to get better proportions. And here you can see that I worked on the skull structure again. So I try to remind myself from time to time to check if the skull structure is still correct. And here you can see that I pushed the mouth area back quite a lot to get the front plane intact that I mentioned in the beginning. And when you go to the orthographic view, you can check your proportions sometimes a bit better. And here I push down the ear quite a lot to match it to the level of the eyebrow. Here you can see that I adjusted the overall shape of the skull quite a lot. And here you can clearly see where the highest point of the skull is. When you divide the head in thirds, it's in the last third of the head, roughly, where the highest point of the head is, as well as the widest point. You can see from the top view that the skull has quite an angular shape, so try to keep that in mind as well. Now it's just refining shapes, and it has a lot to do with experience and doing heads over and over again to get an eye for the shapes and how the forms are working. And I think everyone has to just do the mileage of doing heads over and over again, and it's not really helpful to explain every little form change and plane of the head, because you just have to do it. There's no easy way to learn these things. Here you can see that I did quite a few changes to the head, and I just used the transpose tool and scaled it on the x-axis, and use every tool that you need to use, like masking and moving whole areas, or scale a part of the head, whatever you need to do, and don't just use the brushes. And here you can see what I meant with big changes, and for this I masked out the eye area and pushed the whole area down. In the end, you can see that I broke up the symmetry just a tiny bit, but I think it makes all the difference to a believable character. And you can see that I put the tip of the nose at an angle. I just pushed and pulled the eyes a bit to a different shape, just very, very slightly, as well as the mouth. You can change the angle of it and the jawline, just a little bit to give it a more realistic look. What I would like to talk about a little bit is how you can practice doing heads. There are a lot of really great tutorials about drawing heads that go over the proportions, and I can really recommend to do some drawings of heads, because you will get much quicker results, because you have fast iterations, and you learn basically all the things you need to know about proportions, like where the placement of the eye is, and how tall the head is in comparison to the width of the head, or how the head looks from the side view, and all the placement of the features you learn quite quickly while drawing. And instead of working on a head for 2 hours in Zbrush, you can do like 20-30 drawings of heads, so you get quite a bit experience in building up the basic structures of the head. So I would really recommend to do some 2D tutorials about head proportions, and I put down a link to some tutorials in the description, and it translates almost one-to-one to 3D as well. So when you draw, you get better in 3D. And one quick tip to check your proportions inside of Zbrush is to use the transpose tool. And you can actually use the tool to measure your proportions. So when you go to the orthographic view and draw the transpose line straight down, holding the shift button, you can see on the top left it says 1.5 units, and make sure to get really from the top of the head to the bottom of the chin. And when you go to preferences and go to the transpose units tab, you can see the calibration distance. When you say, okay, now my calibration distance is 1, you can see on the top left it says 1 unit. So now you can check your proportions. When I hold the shift button again, click on the orange circle, hold it, and go to the level of the eyes, you can see it's roughly in the middle of the head. It's a bit lower, but that's fine. And this way you can also check, okay, one eye is around 1.1 units. Now you can see from one eye corner to the other, it's still roughly the same, and from the other eye corner to the edge of the head, it's almost the same as well. My head, if you want to know the proportions of my head, it's 1 unit down, 1 unit from the from bottom to the chin, and from the widest part of the head to the other side it's 0.67 units. So roughly 2/3 of the height of the head is the width, and from the back to the front of the forehead it's 0.83 units, and to the tip of the nose it's 0.93, so a bit less than the height of the head. As I mentioned, I put some links to tutorials in the description, and let me know what you think about, and what you think about the recording method, like going through the history of the model. Let me know if you like that or not. In the next tutorial I will talk about how I do the retopology of this face. I hope you found this helpful, and yeah, let me know what you think, and thanks a lot for watching, and I see you next time. Bye.